Hello, welcome back to the channel and another video, and today's video is about farming. So my wife and I spend a lot of time on farms, or we live on a farm, and my family owns a farm, the one we're on right now. My brother just took it over from my parents, and I love being on the countryside and I love farming, and my wife is really taken to it too. So now we're pondering, as real estate investors, could our next investment be a farm? Yeah, it's very intriguing to us for some reason. Like, we just love the idea of, having a nice place to reside in the winters in Florida, where we do most of our investments. We have real estate investments in Florida, as you know, and we have real estate investments here in Sweden. We also have a house delivery company, or a housing. We work together with a factory producing key-turn houses and delivering in both Sweden and little cabins to United States. So we're busy and dug down into real estate, and the question then is farming a potential part in that real estate venture that we're invested in? Because the more we think about it, the more we love the idea of having our own farm and growing our own crops, and also doing like maybe vegetable gardens, and my wife always wanted a coffee shop on the farm and all that good stuff. So while being home, it's nice because I got to dive back into some of the farming. So right now we're very busy at my now brother's farm, what used to be my parents' farm, where I grew up. I grew up in that yellow house behind me. And we're sowing the winter wheat, and we have great weather, and there's quite a short window when you need to get a lot done, and I love farming the way it gets so intense. Like, you get some adrenaline pumping, and you have first you have to do this, get the crop in the ground. So we started off this weekend by plowing. I have a bunch of footage from sitting on the plow. It's quite a slow job, but it's great. I don't know, it's just very meditative to sit there. So, where was I? Yeah, we're pondering now buying our own farm. And yeah, I was plowing the other day. So you plow first. That's when you take the topsoil and turn it over. So you get a nice bit of fresh black dirt on top. And then today we're going out with this harrow. I think it's called a harrow in English. Harrowing. To sort of rake the field, to break down all those big lumps of clay into like a finer, lusher dirt, into which we're going to sow the crops. So I did the plowing yesterday, and then we did some of the harrowing yesterday, and then my dad now is on the sowing machine sowing the crops, the winter wheat that will be ready for harvest come August next year. And then that wheat is used on the local mill, just it's maybe 2 miles that way, 1.5 2 miles that way, where it's made into flour that we then bake bread off on all the local bakeries, and sell it in the stores around here and all that good stuff. So it just feels good to be working with something so natural and where you're connected to everything, and therefore we're now really like investigating the idea of being able to invest in a farm for ourselves. But more about that later. Now let's go do some farming. Some cool features on this one, amongst which GPS that allows you to hook up to satellites, and then use those satellites to guide the tractor that can actually steer itself. So I might try to show that off later if I have enough battery in the camera sometime. So I don't promise anything, but if I can, I'll give you a little tour of that. This is pretty cool. We used a similar tractor yesterday, actually the same model. These are 190 horsepower, I think, these two. And my dad on the sewing machine is on a little older but really good Massey Ferguson with about 150 horsepower. Machinery is like, I don't know, if you're a man, machinery is just fun. Cars, tractors, boats, I love all kinds of stuff like that. And I always have. So, let's see if we can make it around. On this tractor now we also have extra tires all the way around, which makes it look pretty brutal. Now on this specific tractor there is a normal gearbox where you have to shift gears. I think there is, let's see, there's 20 gears forward, 20 backwards, which gives you plenty of options to, you know, drive at different speeds and whatnot. But yeah, that's not as cool as in some of the newer tractors, or even older, like Dad's Massey Ferguson, where you have a completely the gearbox is made with oil going through. Well, I'll never be able to describe it properly, so I'm not even going to try. But the gearbox is without any gears, so you have it's seamless gear changes, which I find pretty cool. Whenever you do work on the farms, you notice that you spend a lot of time looking backwards, because you always want to make sure that what's going on is working out the way it's supposed to and you plan for it to. But I think with this little introduction to today's video, I'm gonna soldier on here, and I'll show you some of all the beauties with being on a farm in Sweden, because farming and countryside at the right time of the year, almost every time of the year, there's something really beautiful, and I just love it. And the truth is, I spent more time of my life being a farmer, so to speak, helping out here. I actually started my career too running a big tractor with running cow poop from the farms out on the fields. Mistake here. I punched a hole in it. This is like pickled grass for the horses, and you need it without holes, because if you got holes it rots inside the bale. So didn't find, we usually use this white tape, but I ran out, so I'll try with the duct tape for now and then send my family to fix it, my brother. We're driving by a little place that I wanted to show you because it's got something to do with a new t-shirt. Look at that. So we got new t-shirts. We're still harrowing away. And speaking of that new t-shirt, that's our prefab cabin delivery business in Sweden. If you haven't checked it out, please do, because we're very proud of it. It's nice. I'm running it with some friends and stuff, or sales colleagues, I should call them. I have something right here on the farm we're at that's now my brother's, that's related to this new t-shirt of ours, and I'm gonna see if I can go over here and show it to you. still trying. So what we're doing right now with the machine is I'm going over the worst clay parts where the clay is really hard, like they're big chunks, and I want to level these worst ones out, because these worst clay parts need 3 runs versus the rest of the fields just needs 2 runs with the harrow. It's the tool back there. I'm almost done with this, and since I'm at this little corner with the Valtra tractor, I wanted to show you something that's just down here. So stop real close to the edge and you'll see there's a pond down here, and what we did was one of the customers of our prefabricated cabins is a specialist at they're called wetland architects. So what his profession is more or less a designer of wetlands, and if you do it right, you get a ton of benefits. For, you know, we can do something with all the water and use our lowlands that otherwise wouldn't be, you know, they're too wet to farm and they're too wet to take grass on or do anything with, but if you make them into wetlands, they become really good for birds. Here is a piece of wetland that our customer Peter, who built this house, I'll put in a picture, or bought. We built it, he bought it, and we delivered it to him further down the coast here. But yeah, and you can get these wetlands, which I find pretty neat. And then on this farm that we're at, we also have a little creek. See if we can find it, the old bridge. But before the wetland was designed and built, this was just like a big low land with trees, and you couldn't farm it, you couldn't do anything, and the road came down there and went right across into here where the old bridge used to be, I think. Yep, right here. And back in the day we also owned the fields on the other side, and we used this bridge to bring all the machinery back and forth. The machinery we use these days is way too big, so we could never get past this, but I'll show you. So that land is now sold to the neighboring farm. Here we have a really nice little creek, and there's actually trout in this creek, so you can fish for trout in here, which is really cool. See over here, it's the creek. It's very cute and idyllic. And then the fields that are now sold to the neighbors are up there. There's some berries, wine berries. You can eat these. Okay, back to the tractor, back to the farming. And must say, it feels really good to be back doing this. I actually haven't been very involved the last few years because I've been so busy with all the other stuff we've been setting up and wanting to do, and traveling and investing abroad and all that stuff. So it feels really nice to be back doing this, and I really think my wife and I need to ponder whether we could go ahead and invest in a farm of our own or not. 'Cause I think I'd love to, and I think she would too. It's hard though with farms to actually make some decent money. Like the farming, you need to be having a pretty good year to actually make money on the crops, standard crops like the ones we're working on right now. And then there are some EU grants and some national grants you can get for protective areas like this, so we're not growing the fields all the way out to the end, because this here grass area leaves a lot of life for wild game and for for bugs and all that kind of stuff. So like we've left a lot of areas. There's a little meadow down there and stuff like that. There's the tractor and the harrow and the wetland. So yeah, there's stuff left that helps, but I'm also very intrigued by the challenge of actually making a farm profitable and figure out ways to do more with it. And like my wife having a shop and selling stuff locally and growing stuff locally and maybe sell to some local restaurants and do all kinds of good stuff. So we'll see if we ever end up there, but it's definitely percolating, the idea of a farm. Because I mean, who wouldn't want to live like this, at least in the summer months? Anyways, thank you for watching this video. I'm jumping back into the tractor, and I hope I'll get to see you soon again. Part, and then we're going to sow, and then I'll show you maybe in a few weeks time when the wheat is growing here. Thank you for watching.